Welcome at Pizza and More. Have you maybe already heard about the German pizza? I'm Jürgen and we make today, or this time, original Alsatian Tarte Flambee. I hope I said this correctly. And as you know from most of the pizza doughs, also with this we need time. There is nothing with quick. We make quickly such Alsatian Tarte Flambee. No, it takes time. The dough takes time. We give the dough this time 24 hours for leavening. This produces a nice flavor, a nice taste, and that's the reason why we make this. Of course, there is also the possibility to make it far quicker. Use lots of yeast, let it raise 2 hours, bake it. But as you might know from pizza as well, here time is producing lots of nice flavor in the dough, and that's the reason why we let it raise for 24 hours. In our recipe today we also use Lievito Madre. You may know the Lievito Madre is a kind of sourdough. It's the Italian version of the sourdough, a very dry one, and it's a wheat sourdough. It's not that strong than the German sourdough, which is made from rye. If you have no Lievito Madre, it doesn't matter, then simply leave it away. Or maybe you want to produce you want to breed your own Lievito Madre. It's really not difficult. It can be easily done. I made already a video about this. You will find the link to the video in the video description. I will show you now a traditional recipe with yeast. Of course, there are also recipes available without yeast. Some people are saying the original one is this with yeast. The others are saying the original one is without yeast. Whoever is correct, I don't know. We make it now with yeast. The very classical variant is with a topping of cream, then bacon, onions, some fresh grated black pepper and cheese. And maybe at the end a little bit of salt, but here we have to be a bit careful because also the bacon is already salty and it could be quickly too salty. It is also possible to add some cheese. Here, for example, it would be possible to use some Emmentaler, for example, or some mountain cheese, which is available in Switzerland, Austria, or Germany, or maybe in some regions as well. But as soon you add cheese, then it's not anymore original. But it doesn't matter if you like, you can add cheese as well. Normally we would use, or normally it's used, crème fraîche, because the crème fraîche has lots of fat in it, so that's perfectly for using it on these Alsatian Tarte Flambee. The sour cream, for example, is not that good because the sour cream has too less fat. There is also the possibility to make it in a vegetarian way. Then one hand, either you leave the bacon of it, or you use some smoked tofu, for example. We would like the base at the end very crispy. That's the reason why we bake it only with 350 to 400 degrees. Then the baking time is a bit longer in the oven, and we use only a hydration of 58%, and then it gets also far more crispy. And now I would say we start directly with the ingredients. These are the complete ingredients we need for our dough. I will start directly with the Lievito Madre. This is 100 grams of Lievito Madre. Then I have here 440 grams of wheat flour. This is type 0, or in Germany we have the 550, or it is an all-purpose flour. If you have no Lievito Madre, then use 500 grams of flour. And by the way, all ingredients, the whole recipe and the whole procedure is in the video description. I have here 245 grams of cold water. If you have no Lievito Madre, then please use 285 grams. And this leads then to a hydration of 58%. I have here 15 grams of fine sea salt. I have here 1 gram of dry yeast. If you want to use fresh yeast, so please use 3 grams. And I have here 25 grams of olive oil. To make the dough, we start with the water. And as next, we add our Lievito Madre. And then we directly can dissolve a little bit the Lievito Madre in the water. It's not required to dissolve it totally, it's absolutely enough when it's a bit tiered. The next we add is our flour. If you have fresh yeast, then also dissolve the fresh yeast directly in the water. And then together with the flour we add the dry yeast, and then we mix up everything for around 2 to 5 minutes. If everything is mixed up nicely, it's time for adding the salt. And now we continue mixing for around 5 to 10 minutes. And the last ingredient we add is the olive oil. And now we continue kneading until the window test works. This will be around 20 minutes in total. After a kneading time of around 20 minutes, I think the dough is ready. Here we have to be a bit careful because of the low hydration. There is the possibility and a bit of a danger that the dough gets too warm. So temperatures are around 25 to 27 degrees Celsius are no problem. This is my experience I made. Some people would say 23 or 24 degrees and then the gluten structure is damaged. But my experience showed me up to 27 or maybe even a little bit more. It's absolutely no problem. It depends also always on the kind of flour you are using. However, I think the dough is now ready. For the window test, I take out of the bowl a piece of dough. Then I shape a ball. And then I stretch it. Of course, it's more difficult to stretch it because it's not that elastic because of the low hydration. But if the dough is ready, it should be possible to stretch it as well. And as you already can see, it is possible to make the window test. And my dough is ready right now. I take it out of the bowl and shape a bigger ball. It is of course not required to do lots of stretch and fold. The only what we do is we shape a nice dough ball because then it's better for raising. And when this is done, we put it into a dough ball box and there we close the lid. And then we let this dough rest at room temperature for around 1 to 2 hours and then we put it for 12 hours into the fridge. 12 hours later, it's now time to make the dough balls or the little dough balls. I would have said almost the pizza balls. Okay, these are not pizza balls as we make not a real pizza. But however, we make 3 balls with 270 grams each. You saw it's now after 12 hours and the total leavening time is 24 hours. Of course, it would have been also possible to make the dough balls directly after kneading. So maybe we knead the dough, let it rest for 30 minutes and create then the dough balls. But I'm personally a fan to divide always the bulk fermentation and the ball fermentation into 2 pieces, into 2 similar or almost identical pieces, so 12 hours and 12 hours. For me, I think the advantage of the bulk fermentation is there are far more microorganisms in this bigger ball than in a little ball. Of course, the part might be almost the same, but nevertheless, I think the taste development in a big ball is better than in only small balls. The next advantage is after 12 hours, I have to redo the dough balls. I have to redo the dough. I cut the dough into pieces. I form the dough balls, which means new oxygen is brought into the dough. And this new oxygen also helps to develop far better taste and good aroma than if they would stay there where they are, because we already made the dough balls. And now I would say we make the 3 dough balls. My opinion is the development of the dough was pretty good. We take it out, put it onto the counter, and then we shape, or we divide the dough now into 3 pieces, 270 grams each. And then we shape the pizza balls, then we shape the dough balls in the same way like we shaped also our pizza balls. We take one, we let this side, which was already on top, also now on top, and then we only shape here a pretty nice dough ball. If we already have lots of air inside, it doesn't matter. We can either press it out or we let it as it is. At the end, we have to use either a roller pin to prepare the dough, or we use our hands, but all air will go out when we create the base. And here are now the 3 balls inside of our box, and now it's quite important to close again the lid. We put the dough balls directly back into the fridge, and we let it for several hours in the fridge, and around about 4 hours before baking we take them out and let them getting warm again at room temperature. The reason is they need definitely room temperature, because we have a low hydration, and if this is such a low hydration and the dough would be cold, it would be very difficult to stretch to stretch the flambée. Otherwise it would really break, the dough would break, because as I said, we have a low hydration and a cold dough. So we let it rest at room temperature, and then we should have no problems. All the ingredients are prepared, what we need as toppings. I have here creme fraiche, I have here bacon, cutted onions, and I have here chives, and of course I have black pepper. And now I would say we start directly with our Alsatian Tarte Flambee. To take it out of the box, we do exactly the same like with a pizza ball. We take some semolina onto the ball, and then we take it out, and we have to be here the same careful as with a normal pizza ball as well. Then we close again the lid of the box to protect all the other dough balls from drying out, and we flip this one several times around in the semolina. Then we take it out and we press the dough. Here we don't need to be careful, because we can press out all air, because it will be at the end without any air in the dough. We can use here, because we have a very low hydration and it's very hard to stretch this kind of dough, we can use easily also a roller pin. And then we start with the toppings. At first the creme fraiche. Also here, like with a pizza, we put nothing onto the crust. As next we add some bacon. Then onions. Some black pepper. And then it's ready to be launched into the oven. Therefore, we take our peel, put some semolina on it, and push the peel under. And I forgot to say, the oven is preheated to 375 degrees Celsius. And here comes the tart flambee out of the oven. And then we need some sheaves. Or is it called chives? I don't know. And here it's super crispy. And now of course I have to taste it. And you can believe me, the kitchen not only smells fantastically, also this tart flambee tastes fantastically. It's amazing. Now let's taste the crust. And this is exactly how it should be. It's very crispy. The bottom is crispy. Everything tastes fantastic. I think this is something which is great if you want to have sometimes a bit of an alternative to the normal pizza. Also the work is not more. It's delicious. If you like my video, it would be fantastic if you would subscribe my channel, and then we see us also in the next video. Ciao.